Hi guys, welcome back. It's Tommy and we're back on the South Korean ladder. This game has been played in August 28th, 2025, and quite a surprise cast here as I've searched on the Qual website for many replays and I found a surprise here. It is Scan actually versus SCARLETT. Now according to Qual, display right here, the barcode is actually SCARLETT, which is quite interesting given the fact that she actually plays Protoss on the Broodwar. At least I know her playing Protoss, so now we see her switching perhaps to Zerg, just like she does in Starcraft 2. So let's just see how this is going to go for her. Very high APM for both players. It's going to be a 2-game cast here onto this channel. Really excited about this one. I really hope it's SCARLETT. Perhaps you guys can also check this out, but it's very hard of course with those barcodes, and perhaps Scan can tell us if this was or is indeed SCARLETT here into this game. So yeah, we do have a 4 spawning location map. In the lower right in the tier it is, I hope, SCARLETT, and in the lower left in the orange it is Scan. Easy to figure out that it is Scan from the YB clan. So yeah, let's have a look at their build orders. In the upper left part the production tab is up. We see Scan actually walling off here, so it looks like he's expecting perhaps a rush from the Zerg, so pretty much walling off here with SCVs and Marines is going to be a very good idea for him to prepare his economy for this game. So yeah, also nicely scouting here the map on the 1 minute and 50 second mark. Let's look at SCARLETT very quickly. Overlord, I believe it was Overlord into expansion for her, as she's also sending out here the first scouting drone. So yeah, like I told you, 2-game cast. There's the spawning pool followed by the extractor here for SCARLETT. Quite a normal build order here for the Zerg. Of course it's safe to expand given the fact that it is a 4 spawning location. Actually a very good scout here by SCARLETT into the early game, so the drone can actually return home for her to mine, as the Overlord is now detecting the expansion point here from the Terran. Let's have a look at the Scan, and there is his gas, so very soon he might try to go for a factory, so could be an interesting idea. Vultures early on with some mines could keep the Zerg at bay. Let's have a look. Or is it going to be mass bio for the Terran, just like in previous replays? Let's have a look at SCARLETT. She's also closing in towards the tier 2 upgrade. The SCV might see this very soon, so I believe at this time right now the Zergs really like to go into tier 2, there it is, and then later on switch towards Mutalisk, maybe even Lurkers. So the pretty standard Terran versus Zerg here, as Scan also realizing this, going for his expansion. I believe many turrets will follow very soon for him in order to defend the first wave of Mutalisk here from SCARLETT. So of course some gas has to be mined. The Mutalisk really demand a lot of gas. The first Marine is also out here. Let's check once again the main here from Scanner. He is actually going for a factory. Now what he could also do is go for a starport and drop some vultures towards the expansion point here from SCARLETT, which is obviously not that well defended. It could be quite a surprising move from Scan, but it could be a possibility. Mass bio, like I told you, mass Marines is the usual tactic here, the usual strategy from the Terrans. So quite a surprising factory here for Scan. Let's have a look exactly what his plans are, as his SCV is still alive. And interesting enough, SCARLETT is starting to go for a very early sunken colony here. Is she expecting an attack? The Overlord, of course, can't really move forward. Scan finishes the factory. Let's have a look if he's going for a starport. Does an add-on, and let's have a look. Yeah, there it is. There's a starport. So are we going to be seeing some dropship, or we perhaps going to be seeing some Wraiths? Wraiths could also be a very interesting idea for the Terran, as I did cast I believe 2 years ago, a replay from Flash who went mass Wraiths, just pretty much sniping all of the Overlords from the opponent, so making life very hard for the opponent, as SCARLETT is now scouting here the map, also going for the upper right part of the map, perhaps to expand there. Of course she can interconnect those expansion with some Nidus Swarm, and yeah, quite an interesting sunken colony here for her, playing very safe. 500 APM here for her, really taking this game serious. And yeah, Scan, of course, the known South Korean pro, as he's going for his engineering base. So yeah, Vulture is also out here for him. The entrance is pretty much shut down as Scarlet also takes her expansion there. Let's have a look what Scarlet is going to be doing. Of course, the Spire will finish in time. Speed for the Vulture is also going to be finishing here very soon. And she's actually going for Carapace first, so no flyer attack, as the first Mutalisk will be launched very soon here towards the expansion point here from Scan. But Scan, of course, should be fine. The first turrets are getting produced. Let's have a look once again into his main. There is indeed a Valkyrie prepared here for Scan, so Scan playing quite interesting Valkyrie just to snipe those Mutalisks, just to keep them at bay. And perhaps this is going to force Scarlet to go for Hydralisk with Lurkers, maybe even tier 3 with Defilers and Ultralisk, as she's now moving out into the map. The Vultures with speed very fast, and this is quite a interesting move here by Scarlet, taking another expansion. So quite a greedy gameplay here by her, but Scan with those fast moving Vultures, having a great map control here. And yeah, Scarlet actually getting forced here to fly over the map to defend her expansions first. So quite an interesting strategy here for the Terran, keeping the Zerg at bay at home with those fast moving Vultures. Some mines could also be planted very soon. There we have the Sunkers, but the Vultures are really fast. This is actually a great move here forward by Scan. Great block here, however, by Scarlet. 2 drones have been snapped, and he's actually now moving forward towards the main. This could actually be a winning move here by Scan. What a chaotic scene, but this actually shows how strong Vultures can actually be into the early game. Mutalisks are ready to respond. Some drones have been sniped. 3 Vultures have been sniped, but yeah, lots of mining time has been sniped here as well. This Vulture, I believe, also sniped two drones. And interesting switch here. Actually, it's the Zerg who is harassing the Terran, but Scan finding a very nice strategy here to keep the Zerg at bay, and with that he might even have the advantage here. Interesting enough, he went for some Valkyries, 3 of them. So I don't really think that would have been necessary, but then again, I'm another pro South Korean, so yeah, he's going for more air units, for more Valkyries. Quite interesting decisions. Perhaps some Brace would have been a better idea. Scarlet might switch towards ground units. And hold on, actually Scan might just try to snipe the overloads here from the opponent, from Scarlet. And Scarlet is playing quite greedy here. Vultures are still into the middle of the map. Now finally they will be taken care of by those Mutalisks. And actually Scan not paying attention here, losing 2 important Vultures. With that, the harassment might be over here for him. But yeah, defensive wise, he's in very great shape with those Valkyries at home. Perhaps he's going to move out very soon in order to just pretty much obliterate all of the air units here from the Zerg. Let's have a look. Is he going to be lucky to find some overloads here? And yeah, those overloads will pop very soon as the Brace will arrive. So Scarlet might be forced to go for some Scourges. There it is, Scourge indeed. And we do have the infantry upgrades here now for Scan. So I believe with that, Scan might very soon transition into mass bio. There's another barracks. But yeah, the economic advantage looks still in favor here for Scarlet, as she fended off the first harassment by the Terran very soon. Scourges are still into the air. Quite a menacing air force here for Scarlet, as quite a small group of Marines are moving out. Stim has been finished. Range will also be finished. Scarlet might be lucky to snipe the units from the back. The Valkyries now taking care of the first overload. The medics are in sight here, and Scourges might get some connections here, but no. Scan actually nicely microing those Vultures, sorry, those Valkyries in the air, and yeah, the Scourges will also be taken care of. So very good micro here by Scan, not losing those important air units, the Valkyries, into the air. Now only the Mutalisk will be able to fly away at home, but at the same time Scan has to pretty much hurry up. He really has to punish the economic advantage here from Scarlet, as she's also playing nice defensively here. So let's just see where exactly Scan is going. The overload will of course be taken care of very soon. Looks like he's going to attack here, so quite defensive gameplay now all of a sudden here. Perhaps Scan is going to be forced to go for some dropship harassment, as another good connection has happened here for Scarlet. So yeah, really investing a lot of minerals here towards those sunken, so making very hard for the Terran to attack. Perhaps 1 tank or 2 will also be needed here for Scan in order to move forward. His infantry is not really going to stand a chance against all of those sunkens in the back. So very hard situation here for Scan, as of course he has to make up his mind what exactly is he going to be doing. Is he going to stim up and move here forward? Would be quite hard of a decision here for him to make. The Mutants wait, of course, that attack. They will very likely flank the Terran army. The Vultures are in the front. Some drones do pop. So let's see if he's going to take the initiative, perhaps waiting for some reinforcements. Just trying to get a good control here of the map. Trying, of course, to snipe some lucky snipe here for him. So a good move out, a good connection here for Scan, as we did pass the 10-minute mark. And he might even snipe more units here. So Scarlet needs to be careful losing some units. Perhaps she did snipe a Valkyrie, but she also lost some units there into the air. But yeah, if you look at the worker count here for Scarlet, she's at 50 workers. Very hard position. Actually, he is actually moving here forward, but so many Sunkens in the front. Even the Mutants do soak up some damage here, and Scan has of course to retreat. There were 6 Sunkens here for Scarlet. More infantry is getting sent out, but the Mutants do intercept all of those units. So very hard game here for Scan indeed. Very hard mind game here for him, as Scarlet with some great defenses here. And perhaps Scan is going to be thinking about when watching the replay, as some dropships could have also dealt some damage. But then again, Scarlet even has Scourges here, so Scarlet really thinking about all the options here from the Terran. And yeah, the Terran is actually forced to pull back, adding a science vessel with some irradiance. And so many upgrades here for Scarlet, as she's still going strong towards air units. And defenses here as well for her. 6 Sunkens, very hard here for the Terran. This might also push Scan to go towards a mech transition. Yes, indeed, there it is. So he's going actually into mass tanks with Goliaths, with Vultures. Is this going to work out for him? We're about to find out, as we do have indeed a very interesting Terran versus Zerg here, and Scan even opting to go for the upper left part. So yeah, what an interesting game we have here in between the two pros, as the Mutants still try, of course, to snipe the reinforcements here from the Terran, and she's actually going straight towards this undefended expansion point. So quite a great mistake here by Scan, leaving this expansion point pretty much undefended. Finally, there comes the Valkyries, but they will be taking care of the Scourges. So yeah, now the SCV count is at 60 here for Scan, as one SCV after the other is going to be sniped. Finally, the reinforcements do move here forward, but 4 SCVs have already been sniped. Lots and lots of mining time has been sniped, and now Scan might even try to go towards those 2 SCVs in the upper left part, showing of course her air dominance. The Mutants are really fast. They're quite fragile indeed, but they're so fast moving, as she will very likely stop the expansion point here from Scan. She might even try to cancel it for real, killing it here. So Scan, of course, not that mobile as the Mutants into the air. He's moving out with his infantry, but yeah, very great move here by Scarlet, taking the initiative, and with that she might even have a smaller advantage here into this game. Now let's just check the upgrades very quickly. We do have Carapace here for Scarlet 2, and Marines are 1 weapons operator here, but like I told you, Scan is going into mass factory units, mass mech here for him. There it is, another factory, and yet another factory here for him. Worker wise, he's looking very good. 66 workers versus the 68 here from Scarlet. So Scarlet closing towards 70 workers. Irradiance now finally getting used by the Terran. Good map control here for Scan. He has also many mines laid down. Let's have a look once again, the main for Scarlet, and yeah, there it is. We do have some queens actually, so she is expecting a tank gameplay, and we even have the Ultralist then for her. Yeah, there are those queens with energy. They can be very deadly towards those tanks from Scan. Let's have a look, where exactly are those mech units. Even some Goliaths could be of course killed by the queens with the Broodlings. And yeah, still anyone's game. Maybe a small advantage here for Scarlet, as she was able to snipe the expansion, the newly established expansion here. She also sniped some SCVs here. Only 2 Goliaths into this area. Still no turrets here for Scan, so he is very likely going to try to take control of the map, and he's going to move here out slowly but steadily. I also don't see any tanks yet for him. Only Goliaths. It's actually mass Goliaths here for the Terran with 2 upgrades. 1, 2 upgrades, and finally some tanks will be added, as we do have a huge move out here by Scarlet. So she really wants to take care of this expansion right here, but she will be intercepted. The Zerglings are of course upgraded one more upgrades. Adrenaline has also been added, but yeah, the Marines with the medics will be able to take care of that. As now I believe the strategy will pretty much change here for Scarlet. It's just pretty much going to be mass ground units with Ultra Risk, with Zerglings versus the units here from Scan. And then the Ultra Risk, of course, showing his strengths here. Very hard to be killed, as the expansion has once again been sniped here by Scarlet. So very interesting mix of units here, as great irradiance have been casted here, lots and lots of splash damage. Finally the Scourges will get some connections, but that irradiance was pretty much perfectly casted here by Scan. Just shows how strong those science vessels are into the air. Two irradiance just pretty much obliterating all of the air units here from Scarlet, and also the ground units have been lost by her, as another Ultra Risk is getting sent out. But very great connections here by Scan, as all of a sudden he's the one taking the initiative. He's the one just pretty much sniping everything that Scarlet throws towards him. At the same time, in the middle of the map, some mines will get some good connections here. So Scan all of a sudden having a very great pace here, dealing so much damage towards the massive production here from Scarlet. So yeah, I believe Defilers will very likely be needed here for Scarlet with Dark Swarm. Queens have also not been used yet by her. At least I didn't see any queen moving out. I believe she's just going to keep those for the tanks. And yeah, there are the queens just moving around with full energy. So what is she going to be sniping? I believe some Goliaths will be some good connections, or the tanks here on the high ground. There it is, just waiting to be casted with Broodlings. There it is, nice. So saving the energy for those tanks. Very smart decision here by her, as there's also so much action happening here, and she's pretty much just sending out wave after wave towards the newly established base here from the Terran. With that, she will very likely gain the advantage, the economic advantage, as the Ultra Risk, of course, even dealing damage with irradiance against the own Terran units. 3 Ultra Risk, very strong, versus the infantry and the Goliaths here from the opponent. Good job here by her, and wave after wave is getting sent out, but Scan also nicely responding with mines on the ground. Those mines are getting some great connections. Ultra Risk, however, very hard to attack, as we have a dancing Ultra Risk here who just keeps on dancing. Very nice stuff here by Scarlet. And yeah, lots and lots of mines, like I told you, will get some good connections here for her. And yeah, those Ultra Risk so hard to be killed. Nice upgrades, there it is, a nice explosion, as just wave after wave is getting sent out here by Scarlet. So for how long is Scan going to be able to hold this, I don't know. Still, interesting enough, she's deciding not to go for Defilers, keeping her queens safe. I believe that's her strategy, just launching those Ultra Risk towards the enemy here. And yeah, slowly but steadily we close towards the 20-minute mark here. A very interesting game, a good response here by Scan. But is he going to be able to hold against so much damage, against so much tankiness here from Scarlet with those Ultra Risk? As yeah, just those waves of suicided Zerglings charges keep on moving out here towards the map. Not really getting any kills. Great micro here by Scan, but he finally will be able to finish the expansion there, and just Scarlet just keeps on suiciding those Zerglings. Maybe an investment into some Defilers would have been a smarter decision here by her, but I'm sure she knows exactly what he's doing. I believe Zerglings are pretty much cheaper for her, so she just keeps on sending out those waves towards the enemy. Look at that, wave after wave is getting sent out here by her, but the tanks in the back will be, if they're well guarded by the units in the front, they will be so good here for the Terran. And slowly but steadily now the Zerglings have reached the tanks. Scan with a great spread. Another wave is being sent out here. Even some Ultra Risk is getting forgotten here for her, as she might try to go towards the upper left, but interesting enough she decides to attack here, where actually the Terran seems to be prepared for that with the Vultures, with the tanks. Now finally 2 Ultra Risk will be brought here forward. Even some Ultra Risk have joined the attack here for Scarlet, and those mines should be able to get some good connections. Yeah, very hard to kill those Ultra Risk here from the opponent, as the next wave is getting sent out. This actually reminds me of tower defenses, as she just keeps on sending out wave after wave towards the opponent, not really reaching the target. Let's have a look once again towards those upgrades. Come here, you Zergling. It's 3-2 upgrades. And now finally she decides to go towards the important expansion here, which is not well defended. So perhaps a mind game here by her, who's sending out wave after wave, but the real target will of course be the SCVs into the newly established base. And yeah, with this strategy, a very nice abusive gameplay here by Scarlett, as she's able to attack those SCVs onto the ground. So very nicely done here by her. Just kept on expanding there, just kept on stopping the mining from the opponent. Now finally the tanks have to be brought here forward. Very hard game here indeed for Scan, as he's not really being able to punish the expansions from the opponent, from Scarlett. So Scarlett quite a good game, but a very suicidal game here by her, just sending out wave after wave of Zerglings and Ultras. With that of course winning time, and now even the Queens will get some connections. So nice abusive gameplay like I told you here by her, making life very hard for Scan. Scan just keeps on guessing where exactly the next attack is going to happen. Still he has a good economy, 72 workers versus almost 80 workers here for Scarlett, and look at that, a huge wave is now being sent here forward by Scarlett towards the expansion into the middle of the map. No defilers yet for her. The tanks will have some great time here just sniping those Zerglings. Some Zerglings will move here forward very soon. I'm going to be checking out the upgrades here. The tanks with 2-3, of course, they're very happy to see all of those Zerglings just keep on sniping the Zerglings, but still sadly here for Scan, he's not mining from the important base into the upper left part. Now finally some Ultras will move here forward, just Ultralisk here for her. Some tanks will of course be sniped. Vultures try of course to stay in the front to give cover towards the tanks, and yeah, the Queens will of course be microed back and forward. There are even some Scourges into the air, as yeah, just nice wave after wave is getting sent out here by Scarlett, as her economy is looking very strong versus Scan. Some good connections, but some Vultures will also be sniped. So this suicidal attacks by Scarlett seems to be working out. Now finally those tanks on the high ground here for Scan, but with that he's not having any defenses here, so a very hard game here for Scan indeed. Perhaps he has to leave some tanks here, sweet tanks here, and tanks into this part at a 10 o'clock position for him, as yeah, just Scarlett sending out those units. The high ground however now is finally in control here for Scan, and with that I believe he should of course be able to hold this quite easily. As yeah, the next wave, hold on, we actually do see a Queen moving here forward. The abusive gameplay continues here as the Zerglings now will get very lucky some good connections. The tanks aren't sieged up. Of course Scan tries to lure those Zerglings towards the tanks on the high ground, but there is the great response here by Scarlett with the Queens, and with that once again the Zerglings will be able to move here forward towards the undefended base here, and this is very crucial. The Zerglings will get some good connection. There is one tank alive, but there's so many Zerglings now getting forward towards all of those SCVs. Of course once again the SCVs have to be pulled. Vultures are moving forward. Scan is losing more of his economy. Mines will get some good connections here from the Terran, and yeah, with that once again so much mining time, but sadly here also for Scan so many SCVs will be sniped here, as finally the tanks, only one tank here actually, so Scarlett perhaps now realizing that this base is not really that well defended, sending even some Queens here forward. So yeah, those Queens, quite a great move by her, as another wave is now moving forward towards the not that well defended base. Only some Vultures are standing here forward, and yeah, the Zerglings are now just pretty much going to attack the economy once again here from the opponent. So no defiler gameplay here by Scarlett, sacrificing so many Zerglings. In the end it looks actually very good for her, and there's the GG actually here for Scan. So very nice abusive gameplay. Let's not forget her gameplay with the Queens. So just a couple of Queens just to counter the tanks on the high ground. Very smart gameplay here by her, proving to be very convincing and very strong versus Scan. Such a great macro game here by her. Yeah, the Queens just pretty much send out to take care of the tanks, staying back home, regenerating the mana, and now moving once again out. And in the end, just wave after wave has been brought here forward by her with so many hatcheries at home. 5 only into this location, and I believe 1 here, and many more hatcheries all over the map with so many units here for her. A nice defensive gameplay here. Okay, let's just go towards the next replay. First, if you guys are interested, I'm just going to be clicking fast towards the information here, replay information. Very high APM here for Scarlett. At least I hope it is Scarlett. That's what Qual said, the website Qual says. So quite exciting here to see her play Zerg, even though, like I told you, she is known for her Protoss gameplay here. So perhaps switching to Zerg just like she does in Starcraft 2. Maybe Scarlett herself watches this replay and can confirm or not confirm if she indeed is this player right here. Quite a strong game by her. Scan with a great early gameplay, but in the end he wasn't able to punish the macro game by the opponent. Let's just go straight towards the other game. There it is. Alright. In the lower right, in the purple, it is Scarlett. And in the lower left, in the orange this time, it is Scan. And he's actually writing something in South Korean. I don't know if Scarlett knows South Korean. I have no idea what they're talking, so perhaps you guys can translate. I really hope it is Scarlett and not some South Korean pro. That is quite interesting. So maybe she knows. She's been living quite for a while in South Korea, so she should of course know Korean. Either that or I'm going to make a complete fool out of myself here and it is not Scarlett. So in that case, sorry about this one. But yeah, according to Qual, like I told you, this is Scarlett with her AK, with her barcode AK. And yeah, let's have a look how this game is going to continue. It's actually the same game with this crashed vehicle right here, this crashed plane. So yeah, once again a 4 spawning location map, and it pretty much looks like in the first game the same build order here for Scan, opting to go towards a defensive gameplay. And actually the overload once again, this time in purple, also with a great scouting here for Scarlett as she is moving up. But interesting enough, they did write in Korean, so perhaps Scan can tell us who this player is. I really hope I'm not making a fool out of myself onto this channel and casting an AK. But yeah, like I told you, Qual, the website Qual, did write AK Scarlett here. So let's have a look how this is going to be going. Very high APM here for both players. Overload into hatchery for Scarlett. And yeah, there's the wall of completed here for the Terran as the first scouting SCV is also moving out. Lucky scout here by Scarlett with that her first scouting drone will be once again sent back home to mine more minerals. There it is very soon. The overload is going to be seeing the barracks, and with that, yep, there it is. She is going back home. Let's have a look what the strategy is. It going to be once again a switch towards vultures into the early game. Actually, the early game in game number 1 was very good here for Scan with those vultures taking quite a great initiative at one point, even moving forward towards the main from Scarlett, sniping some drones. Perhaps a dropship would also be a nice idea for him. And yeah, into the late game, into the middle game, sadly those vultures of course standing no chance against those Sunkens under the ground. I believe that's exactly why Scan might go for some air units and Valkyries. Very good, but perhaps Vrace better to abuse the opponent, as they also have cloaking device and you can snipe the overlords into the air, making very hard for the Zerg to react. Of course, there's the tier 2 upgrade, so we pretty much have the same build order here for both players. The question is Scan going to be going for once again for a factory? It looks like it. He is mining some gas here. SCV is still out. He sees the tier 2 upgrade, so he knows that very likely once again Mutalisk will be brought forward towards the expansion point for him, so it should be a factory and perhaps then going towards a starport. So let's have a look if this is going to work out for Scan this time. Vultures into the early game. We actually do have quite the same build order just like in game number 1, only different colors here for both players. Pretty much a indigo gameplay here for them, as the Zerglings might get a lucky snipe here, and the drone is moving out, so this could be the expanding drone towards the upper right part by Scarlett, as the SCV is indeed very likely going to be sniped here. So the first difference here, a good sniping here for Scarlett, as the tier 2 has been finished. There's the spire. Factory will also be finished very soon here for Scan. Let's see if he's going to be going towards a starport just like he did in game number 1. And is it going to be once again vultures for him? It actually worked out very well, and there it is, indeed a starport. So this seems to be the build order here for the Terran versus the Zerg. As the Zerg could of course be sneaky, she could of course just pretty much cancel this spy right here, go towards a Hydra's Den, and then just pretty much go towards mass lurkers. Those Valkyries in the air would have been of course pretty much for nothing there. There we have even the armory getting constructed here for Scan, and Scarlet also deciding to go this expansion, but at the same time she's also going for this expansion right here. So this is her build order. Very interesting build order, quite rarely seen. Expansion into expansion at around the 5-minute mark here into the upper right part. So this expansion will of course be used with mass Sunkens. The same can be said here for her. Of course she is adding a Sunken given the fact that she's expecting very likely an attack with vultures from the opponent. Marines also, she knows of course that the speed will be finished very soon, so Scan might be lucky to snipe some units from her there, to snipe some of the economy here from Scarlet. Let's just see how this game is going to continue. We do have the wall of buy Zerglings here. This is very important for Scarlet in order to see when or if a move out is going to happen with some vultures, and a quite defensive gameplay here by Scan. The engineering bay has also been finished. First nucleus will also be sent out. Once again carapace for her, as now the vulture speed will be finished, and with that I believe Scan is very likely going to move out here. Yes indeed, there it is. So speed has been finished, the move out is going to commence. He's going straight towards the upper part from the map. No Sunkens yet here of course for Scarlet. The first drones are getting produced. Once again it is going to be Valkyries, but yeah, there are those nucleus key into the air for Scarlet, as one Zergling has been snapped. So not that many drones here available to be scanned, to be killed here by Scan, as the vultures will be fended off. But this will of course force once again Scarlet to play defensively. The mutants will not harass the middle line here for the Terran. Scan already at 32 workers, and once again these two vultures making it here forward. So let's just see how many workers is Scarlet going to be losing. 26 she had, now she's at 24. Only 2 mutants here to defend. Even the drones have to fight. So 3 drones, actually 4 drones have been sniped. But Scarlet can of course come back. And is she going to be adding more and more Sunkens? That is a question here for her, as now more barracks are getting produced here for the Terran. So we do have a switch towards mass bio. And is it going to be later a switch towards mech? We're about to find out what exactly the decisions are here from Scan. Once again going very heavily towards those Valkyries. Seems to be working out very well for him. The vultures will be sniped here, so Scan with a Scarlet with a great defense here, taking a good map control. She will very likely add some more defenses towards her expansions points. Even some scourges have been added here for her. This expansion really actually not well defended at all, and the Mutilus still will be held back, so no intentions for Scarlet to harass the mineral line. Of course pretty much impossible against all of those Valkyries into the air. And now another move out is happening here, so it looks like I'm exactly watching game number 1 in between them. Scourge is already here to attack the Valkyries. Valkyries of course patrolling the map, getting some good snaps here. Scourges might be ready to attack as well. Those 2 overlords will be very likely snapped here by Scan if he's lucky to move out and see them. Yeah, there it is. So a good important snapping here. This will of course supply block Scarlet, or it should supply block Scarlet, as those nice Valkyries nicely snapping those overlords, and there it is. She is indeed now supply block, so more Sunkens are getting added by her. With those Sunkens she should of course be saved, as no tanks will be added yet here for the Terran. Just mass bio for him. Production tab is of course up in the upper left part. You can see 3 Marines, some Vultures, and now great connections actually here for Scan, as he's forcing Scarlet to move back. But is he going to be able to attack against so many Sunkens? I believe Scarlet might even go towards more Sunkens. Either that, or she's just going to wall off with a evolution chamber. Only 4 Sunkens will be ready for her, so not 6 just like in game number 1, as more overalls will be sniped here. The Scourges are ready to engage here. Some good connections could happen here, and sadly here for Scarlet, she's not able to take out those Valkyries. And actually now it looks like Scan having more and more of an army than in game number 1. Is he going to attack Let's have a look towards his upgrades. 1 weapons, just like in game number 1. The Mutalisk should also have the carapace upgrade for them. Yes, there it is. As Scan is now moving towards a different location. Is he going to try to attack here perhaps? 4 Sunkens available here for Scarlet. More Mutalisk in the back, ready to attack. Scan once again with the initiative, forcing Scarlet to go towards more of a investment towards those Sunkens. Vultures in the front, Valkyrie is already here. Is Scan going to commit here forward and full on attack against 5 Sunkens? Actually only 4 Sunkens now here for Scan, so if for Scarlet. So if Scan is taking the initiative, this could be quite positive here for him. A Sunken is also getting prepared in the back. There are some Mutalisk here. Is he going to attack? This is the question. And yeah, the Vulture immediately getting snapped. The Marines are in the front. The Sunkens do take some damage. The Mutalisks have to engage now. The Scourges are also here in the air. Mutalisks are coming in from the back. The Sunkens are still not that yet here for Scarlet, as so much damage is being taken left and right. But the Marines should of course be able to hold their ground against so many Mutalisks in the air with the medics, as more and more damage is being taken here. So the medics doing some great jobs here, and sadly here for Scan, he didn't focus fire, so the Sunkens are still pretty much alive, still being able to deal damage. Lots and lots of damage being taken here for both players, and now finally the medics will be taken care of. So perhaps if Scan would have been able to focus fire here, the Sunkens, it would have been a different outcome. Right now Scarlet once again with the advantage, being able to hold, also taking some casualties of course. The medics have done some great healing towards the Marines. And yeah, with that we still have quite a balanced game. We did pass the 10-minute mark. It's 11 minutes now in, and yeah, like I told you, still anyone's game. But yeah, important sniping going on here for Scarlet, as she's taking care of the bio here from Scan. So Scan has to regroup, he has to go back. Is he going to once again switch towards mech? We're about to find out. 2 factories here for him. A little bit of a mistake here by him with the waypoints. And indeed it is looking like that. So we do have the tier 3 upgrade now here for Scarlet. Scan not investing this time. Actually he did invest, but immediately he got snapped by the Mutalisks there. So great map awareness here by Scarlet. Let's just have a look at the response here from Scan. Where exactly he's going to attack? Right now it's just pretty much pouring forward with those mines, just trying to create a highway here of mines in order to keep the Zerg at bay. And yeah, lots and lots of Sunkens here for Scarlet, looking very well. But like I told you, this base right here not defended at all. So if Scan is going to watch the game, a drop ship here could have done so much damage with some Marines. With Stim, no medics needed, just pretty much a suicide mission. Would have been able to pretty much cripple the economy here from the opponent. But then again, Scan deciding to not do this. Actually the Mutalisks are moving here forward. Scan losing some workers, lots and lots of mining steins has also been lost here. Irradiance once again greatly used here by Scan with that Scarlet. Of course very hard to out micro this, as so much damage is being taken by the Mutalisks now into the air. And actually Scarlet not really microing well at all, so she's going to lose so many Mutalisks here, as we do once again see a switch towards mech here from Scan. So is he going to add more tanks? Expansion is also getting constructed here, but the Mutalisks having some great air presence here, make it very hard here for Scan to expand all over the map. And yes, Scarlet all of a sudden with 73 workers versus the 54 here from the Terran. So the Terran really has to make up his mind and somehow attack the economy from the opponent. So many Sunkens here, bad rally point for Scarlet, but of course it happens. So yeah, where exactly is Scan going? He is going to try to defend the upper left part at this location, but yeah, Scarlet ready to respond with her Mutalisks. So many Mutalisks actually into the air. And Irradiance once again is going to be used. She has to be careful to not get irradiated so much here, but so much splash damage once again being used by Scan here, and a little bit of mistake here of course by Scarlet, but it happens. With that I believe Scan should be able to somehow control this expansion right here smartly, leaving some Marines here to take this expansion. And yeah, Scarlet with pretty bad micro there, losing those Mutalisks. So all of a sudden the air dominance is now switching towards the Terran. Lots of SCVs are being transferred. Scarlet actually closing towards 80 game, and with that I believe look at all of those upgrades getting started here for her. More Queen energy, so she's expecting once again tank gameplay by the opponent. Nidus network here for her, so many hatcheries. Very soon the swarm will be launched once again by her towards the Terran army as we do approach the 50-minute mark. So very soon I'm going to be pretty much sure we're going to be seeing once again mass Zerglings with Ultralisk. Should be an Ultralisk then, yeah, there it is. Also some Mutalisk, so I really like that here from Scarlett, going for a nice mix of units. Economy is looking very good for her. The queens should of course be able to once again take care of the tanks on the ground as she's now finally moving once again forward, but there are some units ready here to engage Goliaths onto the ground. There are the Scourges, and the Scourges will take care of some good connections here. So two science vessels have been dropped here, more Scourges on their way. So sadly here for Scan, he's losing some important units in the air, even adding a defensive matrix here towards the Goliath, as now the Mutalisk should of course be taken care of. So this time Scan with a better defense into the previous replays, looking very much better here. But yeah, the macro game for Scarlett is going to be quite devastating, just like in game number 1. Lots and lots of production here for both players. Then the first Ultralisk will also be launched very soon here towards the Terran. So yeah, let's just see how this is going to unfold, who is going to be better onto the ground. The queens will also be launched very soon towards the targets, towards those tanks, and we actually do have masses of Zerglings here for Scarlett. 2-1 upgrades, 2 carry plays here for Scarlett, as we also see the Goliaths here with 2 weapons upgrades. And a huge move out here once again is happening here for the Terran with some tanks, and we pretty much have the same scenario just like in game number 1. Mass Zerglings, good kiting here for Scan, nicely sniping wave after wave here of those Zerglings. So yeah, where exactly or when will the Ultras be added? Is it going to be once again wave after wave here? And this time Scan decides to move a little bit out forward towards the map. Mutalisk also here into the air as Scan is just pretty much expanding all of the map. Interesting enough, not deciding to go for some turrets against them, against those Mutalisk. Those mines will get some good connections here. Scan is holding his ground. He's however going to be taking some damage from his own mines, or is he? He's really microing those vultures very well. And yeah, the real important damage dealers will of course once again be the tanks. There they are, but the queens will also be added very soon here by Scarlett. So yeah, a good micro here by Scan, like I told you. Yeah, there in comes the attack with some Mutalisk into the air, but so many Goliaths onto the ground. Scarlett pretty much throwing everything she has towards the enemy. The Zerglings are now pulling here forward, and I believe this is once again her tactic, but this time there are some tanks onto the high ground. There are some Marines here, so a nice spread of units here for Scan as well, as he's going to be able to hold. And the second wave is getting pushed out here by Scarlett towards the expanding Terran. So this time, just not like in game number 1, Scarlett could of course once again move out with the Mutalisk. She could try to snap this, but there are some defenses here for Scan, so the harassment continues. Lots and lots of Zerglings are still getting sent out here, and Scarlett now once again deciding to attack this point right here, as the vultures are also moving here forward for the Terran. We even have some tanks in the back with good upgrades. I believe he has 2-1. So just like in game number 1, the scenario continues as another wave of Zerglings backed up by Ultralisk is getting sent out, and yet another wave. So this could be very deadly here, as Scarlett decides to move here forward towards another undefended base here from Scan. So a mistake once again here by Scan, having to uplift this. Literally no defenses here. At the same time, there are some units moving here forward, getting some good connection against those tanks. The Zerglings getting some good surround, so Scarlett picking up some important units here from the Terran, also not allowing this expansion to mine, as once again she's moving here forward against Scan. So quite a disastrous situation here for Scan, as he's losing worker after worker. What exactly are his plan? Is he busy with something else? Just pretty much holding his ground here. As you can see, a huge wave now moving forward here for Scarlett, and with that she pretty much taking the dominance here. Sadly here for Scan, just losing unit after unit. Quite very hard to out micro this, as Scarlett seems to be all over the map here. So very good stuff by her indeed, as she is now getting some good connections. The tanks will be surrounded by the Zerglings. Very hard to out micro this. The Adrenaline Zerglings are also moving here forward. Scan pretty much under siege now. Finally he should be able to take control back, but very hard game indeed here for him, as Scarlett just pretty much sending out wave after wave, just like she did in game number 1. Now even some SCVs could be snapped here, so Scan dropping to 66 workers, Zerglings all over the place. Another wave is being sent out here. Scarlett tries of course to find the weak spot here from Scan, but she's all over the place, snapping those important units. The siege tanks aren't sieged up here for Scan, as she's just pretty much pulling here forward with all of her units. No queens even needed here for her, as she's quite dominating here forwardly with the Zerglings, getting some good pickups here, and Scan in a very hard situation here for him in the S. Indeed, this has to of course be the GG. So this time Scarlett opting to not go for queens. She just pretty much went all into masses, just pretty much enjoying here attacking the Terran with those sheer masses. Once again, no defilers needed for her, just sheer masses of Zerglings with Ultralisk, showing us how strong this can be. Just like in tower defense, she just keeps on sending wave after wave, and in the end of course the Terran not being able to withstand this, even having some Mutalisk into the air. Look at that. I believe she's pretty much enjoying now killing all of those Terran units, of course. This also reminds me of the ghouls in Warcraft 3, just having so many Zerglings here, very hard to defend, and perhaps only a dropship harassment by the Terran could of course punish the economy from the opponent, as yeah, she's just quite convincingly taking. Game number 1 was very harder for her, but this game number 2 just pretty much outstanding gameplay here by her, and you can also see how fast Zerglings can kill the buildings from the opponent. So yeah, let's just check the stats very quickly, as my voice is slowly but steadily giving up here. Pretty good game by Scan, but once again not punishing the economy from the opponent. Maybe mass buy would have been a better idea instead of those vultures, who knows. But then again, I'm pretty sure he knows exactly what he is doing. So like I told you, hard game here indeed for Scan. This player right here, I told you it is Scan, sorry, it is Scarlett. It's very hard to tell their names, because Scan and Scarlett both start with SC. So yeah, Scarlett taking the series quite convincingly here for her. Very great gameplay here. Maybe she can confirm, or maybe Scan can confirm or not confirm if this player is Scarlett or not. But like I told you, according to that website, I did saw Scarlett, so I was like immediately, let me just cast 2 games with her here, taking these 2 games quite convincingly, making life very hard here for Scan. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. Let's just check the resources very quickly. Gas and mineral is pretty much overwhelmingly getting spent here by Scarlett. 50 more K getting spent here by her, of course. And yeah, those Zerglings are pretty much cheap. What's interesting, like I told you, there are no defilers for her. It's quite an interesting strategy perhaps. And what's also very important, the double expansion, always that double expansion into the upper right part. And then the Sunkens, so she knows exactly what she's doing. Very well calculated game by her. In the end, just pretty much sending out wave after wave, suicidal tactic, but in the end the Swarm pretty much overrunning the Terran here. So quite interesting game. I hope you guys enjoyed. I also hope this is Scarlett and I'm not making a fool out of myself. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. It's Tommy signing out.